Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2017 Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato Coupé. Now this is part of the second generation Vanquish that was built between 2012 and 2018. This was unveiled in 2016, produced throughout 2017 with 325 made in total across 4 different body styles. 99 of them were this coupé. Another 99 were convertibles, another 99 were shooting brakes, while only 28 were speedsters. And yeah, this shares the same engine as the Vanquish S, while weighing about the same as well. And yeah, the Vanquish was eventually succeeded by the DBS Superleggero, which we have reviewed recently. And yeah, it's a really rather handsome looking vehicle. I like it. Well, I prefer this to the front over the DBS Superleggero that we reviewed last time. I also quite like the side profile, I like the sloping rear roof. I'm not quite as much of a fan of the rear as I am over the DBS. Plus, its boot is pathetic in comparison. Yeah, you'd probably find better on a motorbike over that. So yeah, not got quite the same practicality, but it is still nonetheless a great looking vehicle. They also haven't, I don't think, tried to I don't think they've tried to squeeze 2 seats in the rear either, like the on the DBS. And the interior is better as well because it doesn't have that stupid material or whatever that was on the doors and on the center console. It's a far better looking vehicle on the interior, and yeah, that means that it evens about out average to the DBS, so they look about as good as each other for various different reasons. The one thing that this doesn't have over the DBS is power. Granted, it does have a larger engine at 5.9 litres and a V12, but it only produces 595 horsepower and 464 pounds-feet of torque. And I know it says 6 litre on there, but they round it up at Aston Martin, but it is actually a 5.9 litre. So that is 700 cc's more than the DBS, but because that has 2 turbochargers, that produces 120 horsepower more and 199 pounds-feet of torque more as well. So quite a sizable difference. But this does at least match the Vanquish S, which was the most powerful version of the Vanquish when it was around in the second generation. So it does have that at least going for it, and it is also 75 pounds lighter than the DBS Superleggera, which is ironic when you consider the Superleggera is supposed to be a lightweight version of, the DB11 it was based on. But it was a lightweight version over the standard DB11, but yeah, nowhere near as light as this car. But yeah, that lack of weight doesn't really make up for the huge amount of difference in power and torque. That said, its engine is a little bit more throaty in terms of how it sounds, because it doesn't have those turbochargers, but again, they even about out in terms of noise because they both have an advantage over one another. But nonetheless, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. So yeah, as I was saying, the engine does sound fairly good in this. Not all of the time, but certainly just as much as the DBS, and yeah, certainly doesn't have turbochargers making it sound a little bit worse. But yeah, like I said, they both sound just as good as each other. And yeah, despite the fact that this is not supposed to be as much of a performance-orientated vehicle like the DBS, handling and braking wise is virtually the same. So this isn't quite as sharp in terms of braking, and yeah, you can certainly feel that it's not got the likes of the same kind of diff at the rear end, but yeah, it still handles fairly good, and yeah, it's still a really rather fun car to drive. And on top of that, it still looks great, like I said, sounds good, and yeah, it's hardly a slouch in terms of acceleration. Now granted, it is slower than the DBS, which again is to be expected with such a large power difference, but it's still fairly good. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, 0 to 100 in 7.7 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 203 miles an hour. Now, despite all of that extra power and torque in the DBS, that is only 0.088 of a second slower than the DBS, and yeah, 1.3 seconds slower to 100. Now, granted, that 0 to 100 time is quite a large gap, as well as the top speed, as the DBS can do 214 miles an hour. But considering all that extra power and torque the DBS has, it's not exactly as big as I was expecting, quite frankly. And yeah, this is still a fairly quick car in its own right, because it handles as good as it does, while having plenty of power means it's still a cracking sports car to drive, and yeah, it's also easily one of the rarest Aston Martins from the recent past few years as well. And only 99 of these were made after all, so yeah, you aren't really going to be seeing too many of them out on the open road. And yeah, even though I'm not a massive fan of the looks at the rear, it is still a unique look to it, and I do kind of like the concept of that spoiler being part of the bodywork. It's not, you know, sticking up at a certain rate of speed or anything like that, but yeah, I guess I'll just have to get used to it, to be honest. I am slowly getting used to the DBS, and it's really rather large front grille at the moment, so I'm guessing this will grow on me. It's just a shame that it's not quite as great as a Zagato should be, because Zagato have done plenty of great cars with Aston Martin before. We've reviewed the V12 Zagato from, I think it was on Forza Motorsport 6 from a few years ago, and that was really good, but yeah, neither quite matched the DB4 GT Zagato, which is from the 1960, which is, without a shadow of a doubt, not only my favourite Aston Martin, but easily one of my favourite cars. And yeah, this doesn't quite top that, even though it is obviously going to be the faster, better handling vehicle, but yeah, it's all about how the car makes you feel. That is the most important thing, and not the end result. But this is still a cracking car in its own right, and you can have plenty of sideways fun in it as well, just like you can with the DBS. So yeah, I am really glad this has come to the game via the festival playlist, just like the DBS did. I've always said that, you know, there's been quite a lackluster amount of Aston Martins, but that has certainly changed with this game. And yeah, I hope to see more Aston Martins in future Forza games, be they new cars to the series or returnees from older games, because yeah, we don't have the V12 Zagato, for instance, on this game, and I'd love to have that back at some point, because yeah, that is also a cracking vehicle in its own right. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.